Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. Well, the University of Phoenix has released its new Career Optimism Index Survey. And here to give us the breakdown of all the key factors of the survey and what you all can be able to know for yourselves, we're excited to welcome John Woods to our program. John is the Chief Academic Officer for the University of Phoenix. We're going to talk to him about what the survey shows when it comes to things like compensation, training, mental health, and more. John, really appreciate the time today. Thanks a lot for stopping by.
Thanks, Cyrus. We got a lot to go through in terms of the survey results here, as you said. So just from the top, the survey itself is a pretty comprehensive study. We surveyed over 5,000 workers across the country as well as 500 employers to, as you said, get a better idea what's on the mind of American workers as well as their organizations that they work for. And it's really important, given that we've seen the great resignation the last couple of years, to bridge some of the gaps in perceptions between workers and their companies. And not a small thing in the survey, 1 in 3 employees tell us that they'd be willing to change jobs without even having a next job lined up. So a pretty startling number.
That is incredible, John. And I think we have anyone who's been watching the news, we've been hearing so much about the Great Resignation for sure. And so that brings up an interesting question then, John. What career challenges are Americans facing then, despite the optimism that is out there when it comes to the economy?
Yeah, that's a key factor right there, that last year and this year, in fact, a little bit more this year than last year, we see that Americans are optimistic about their futures, about their careers. And in spite of all we've been through with the pandemic the last couple of years, that optimism is what we think propels people and makes people make some of the choices they make. They want to be satisfied in their position. They want more support from their employer, but if they don't get it, they're willing to make a leap and go somewhere else. And like I said, go somewhere else even when they might not have that next job lined up. So some of the things that we saw are maybe pretty common, but more pronounced lately. For example, 86% of employers felt that compensation was something that their workers were satisfied with, and in fact, only 56% of workers report that level of satisfaction, and are in fact reporting that they're living paycheck to paycheck. And so a pretty big 30-point difference there. And probably one of the other big things we saw was training and development. Almost 90% of employers think that these opportunities for upskilling, training, development are prevalent and are plentiful, and only about 60% of workers felt the same way. So a huge difference in perception around training and development, which is key. Key to feeling valued in a job, key to feeling like you're being prepared for the changing nature of your job, or being prepared for a better job within the organization. When that difference exists, that can be a big driver for dissatisfaction in the workplace.
John, you mentioned, being able to survey 5,000 employees, 500 employers, and I think it's interesting, as you were saying, the disconnect that seems to be there between what the perception is of the employer versus the employee. So when it comes to the employers then, if we're talking about 1 in 3 being willing to leave, what can employers do to win workers back, John?
Yeah, that 1 in 3 is alarming, and it's alarming because it amounts to lost productivity, and we all know of organizations in our neighborhoods that maybe had to cut back on hours because they didn't have enough people to staff all their positions. So there's a real cost to not having a full team, a fully staffed organization. And some of the things we think that employers could do, we sort of have a bit of a recipe for this, and they come out of the results of the survey, and maybe this could result in the great retention as opposed to the Great Resignation. We think that coming back to that idea around training again, that a lot of organizations are providing resources for training that just aren't well enough understood or known about by employees. And so better communication around those. And organizations can make them more well known to their employees, but employees can seek to find out that information as well. They can check with HR and oftentimes find out that different things are fully funded, like training and development, or even the pursuit of a certificate or a degree that might be fully funded and they just don't know about it. Another one that we came up with from the survey results was that 85% of employers say that their workers have mental health resources, and yet only half of the workforce has taken advantage of those resources. So a lot more communication needed in that area, and mental health, particularly in the stressful last couple of years that we've had, that can contribute to a much higher level of job satisfaction and likely higher retention as well.
Such a great point. We talked about the employers, John. So what can workers do to prepare themselves for long-term career success then? Well, John, I love what you've been able to share here from the survey, the Career Optimism Index Survey, and I love what you said. Maybe if employers are able to do these things, maybe we can go from having the Great Recession to the Great Retention. I like that. Again, everyone, John Woods has been our guest, the Chief Academic Officer for the University of Phoenix. John, if our audience wants to be able to get more information about the survey, where can they go?
Yeah, thanks. The survey results are organized by different parts of the country, different demographics, so a lot of different information on there, both for workers and companies to take a look at. And they can find it at phoenix.edu/career-institute.
Okay. We'll make sure that we link that up for our online audience as well. John, thank you so much for the valuable information. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
Yeah, thanks again. Enjoyed chatting with you, and wish you a great day.
Hey, same to you, John. Thank you for that. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.